Any personality profile runs this risk. It can be useful to see where people are coming from, but not to put ourselves or others in a box. I want to talk about whether the cube is a personality profile. But first, I want to talk about what that is. And I came across an insightful diagram by a couple of researchers that will serve as our model personality profile. They didn't give it a name, so let's call it the social styles model. They say it isn't a personality profile because it only describes how you behave in public, not who you are on the inside. We'll come back to that later. I'm choosing this model because it looks a lot like the cube, and at first I even wondered if it was the same thing. The two axes are responsiveness and assertiveness. On one axis, we have responsiveness. How emotionally responsive or expressive are you? Around other people, that is. These two style preferences, more and less emotional expression, go along with the pursuit of acceptance and achievement. We might call it people-oriented on the left, and task-oriented on the right. Now, the researchers explain that everyone wants both of these goals, but that we tend to use one strategy primarily as a way toward both. Their model has helped me see that I tend to be less emotionally expressive in public, and that it's because I am pursuing whatever task is at hand, thinking that if I get it done, I will appear competent, and then I will also be accepted. And of course, there are various levels of this. The other axis, assertiveness, is about how much power you use in language. I find tell and ask to be misleading because it's not about politeness. It's about directness. We could call it says and doesn't say. Or, even better, active and passive social styles to match the fight and flight strategies the researchers identify. Whatever we call it, who is more likely to go back and ask the restaurant workers to fix their order? And how directly? And like the responsiveness axis, this also involves body language and volume and tone of voice. The researchers say that no combination of these behavioral styles correlates with any sexual or racial group. They also say that no one social style is better than the others, but that if we understand these different ways of handling social situations, we can adapt to others and appreciate other people we interact with. So far, so good. But then, they label these four styles as if they were types and not traits, and describe the motivations of each of these kinds of people. The spectra silently slide into categories. Responsiveness no longer looks like a spectrum, where a person has both motivations and potential for both styles, no matter where you are on the spectrum. And I think that's what happens the moment we try to cross-reference any two traits. A dividing line goes down the middle and separates people who are in fact very similar. A diagram like this looks like boxes. This is why some people I know do not like personality profiles. They don't want to be put in a box, reduced to one kind of action or motivation. I think it helps to keep in mind that any personality profile only describes some of our traits, not our whole self. This social styles model only describes our emotional responsiveness in social situations and the level of power in our language. But it doesn't describe what the Myers-Briggs describes, or what the Enneagram describes. All of these describe parts of people's personalities, but none of them defines a complete personality type. And of course, neither does the cube, my model. And it agrees with these profiles that all extremes have their place. But the cube is different because I'm suggesting that without balance, each of these extremes becomes harmful. I'm suggesting that the center is the healthiest way to live, whereas a personality profile is only mapping different, equal social styles and traits. The cube is mapping a journey, so these are dotted lines, not boxes. So in my next video, I'm going to talk about my original inspiration for the cube. I had noticed that a lot of Christian sermons seem to be about humbling ourselves and obeying, but that the Bible is much more balanced. But more on that next time.